whether you're the most amazing leader in the world or whether you're okay or it's your first time or you're getting better, like if you show that you care for other people, it's okay that you made a mistake.
Hey Wildcats, my name is Nicole Camacho, and you are currently listening to UAZ Podcast. Today I'm here with my colleague,
Rebecca Ursule.
Today we have a very special guest, Justin. Please tell us what you do, and how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I work with Greater Tucson Leadership. I'm the CEO over there. And basically, we're a nonprofit in the Tucson community. We've been around for 45 years, and we do leadership development for high school students, adults in our community, and people who are looking to be civically engaged.
Thank you, Justin, for coming on to empower and inspire students here at the U of A. So for our first question is, what key moments in your journey from education to CEO shaped your leadership style?
I started out as an elementary education major, very similar. Both my parents were educators, public educators. So I think that I kind of started in that sense, like wanting to be a teacher, thinking about being a teacher. And I think as I went through that program, I realized that I didn't want to be in a classroom, in that traditional classroom. I didn't want to be an elementary education teacher and then 40 years later be like, oh my gosh, I just spent all my life in this one room. Because I think what I really liked about school, especially when I got into college, was all the other stuff that was happening. So I was telling you earlier, I was on student council, or I was like the president of my class in college, like those sort of things. And it was really that leadership development stuff that excited and like inspired me. So I kind of transitioned from an elementary education degree and I got a master's in higher education, which was working in, universities. I used to work here at the U of A in residence life. But I think that the thing that my elementary education degree taught me is that you are a teacher. Everybody's a teacher no matter what. With the work that I'm doing is teaching people about the issues in the community, teaching people about leadership. Whether if you're the boss, if you're a supervisor at work, you got to teach people how to do their job. You got to teach people like policies, procedures, new ways to think about things. So we're all teaching people all the time. So I think that's kind of like the first like level of that. And then I'm going to look at my notes, make sure I hit it all. So after that, when I switched over, I came to the U of A. That's where I did my master's degree. And after that, I moved to North Carolina to work there at my first like full-time job at UNC Chapel Hill. And like one of the other things that I think is important about the journey and kind of like lessons for others, I think that like moving to different places, getting different experiences is really helpful. There's a way that things are done here at the U of A, especially when I worked there, but there was a way that things were done at UNC that was different. And wherever you go, wherever you work, there's going to be a way of doing things, and some things are good, some things are not as good. Yeah. So it's like, how do we bring those good things to different places that we go? So I think we're, an amalgamation of all of our experiences across time. So I think and I know part of the questions is like how to inspire U of A students. It's like one of the things that I never did was I never studied abroad. And that's like one of my biggest regrets. It's like when I was in college, why didn't I go abroad? You have this time to do it. Or like even like Disney World has like the Disney college program. Like you go for a semester and like work at Disney World or whatever. But like, why didn't I go do like one of those other things? So I think that making sure you get to different places in your leadership journey and your experiences are really good, because then you could bring all of that knowledge with you as you move along kind of like in your leadership journey. Then after that, when I first started working, I spent a lot of time on like multicultural competence committees, or right here like UA Social Justice in residence life, like UA Sojo is what we called it back in the day. I think like DEI, it's a bad rap nowadays, or because of the current like climate that we live in. But I think that being able to understand that different people have different lenses and different experiences from you, and like you have a lens, like is the most basic of human understanding, right? Like your experiences are probably really different than my experiences. And if I'm going to be a leader for you and I can't understand that you've had different experiences than me and you look at the world differently than me, then how am I supposed to lead you? How am I supposed to help you like improve or get better? So like really digging into like, what are my identities? what are the identities that I hold? Like, where does that give me, privilege? Where does that give me, like marginalization? Like, what are those things? And like, how am I navigating, like every space that I'm in? And I just, if people don't have an understanding about that, I don't think you can lead others. I don't think you can teach others. It gets such a bad rap in like, I don't know, the world or whatever, but it's like the most basic sense is like, how do we like understand who we are and who others are? And I think that's totally leadership.
I 100% agree with everything you said. You did mention your parents were educators. Was there ever a teacher that really motivated you to get into the educational kind of aspect of your college career?
I had a lot of great teachers along the way, but I always think about my dad as being just an amazing educator. So my dad taught special ed and like life skills. So this was students, who are like to the end of their educational career and have a lot of like disability or, stuff going on that just, they're going to hold that kind of for the rest of their lives. And he was just an amazing person in that environment, like just being able to like help students who need it the most, just learn how to be successful humans, right? And he had like so much patience, so much care, that like he was excellent. Like that's what he was born to do, So I think seeing that really forced me to think about like, what am I here to do? What am I born to do, and how do I do that as best as I can?
Yeah, I'm glad that you kind of looked at that and found your passion out of it, which wasn't so far from what your parents did. You're still teaching, you're still doing that. And it's something that I was also looking at in my personal life too. Both my parents were teachers, my grandparents were also teachers. I have aunts who were teachers, so I have lots of teachers around me, but I was like, I don't want to run out from that. I don't want to be the student who's like, I want to run out from my identity. It's already there in me. It's already in my genes. So how can I transform that into something that can be greater and maybe support a wide variety, a wide range of people, or like the location and the global aspect of it? Because when I look at a classroom setting, teachers do amazing work, but you're just in one specific place, and then these people at this semester are transitioning to maybe to college, or you're receiving new students. And I also don't see a very real transformation immediately. Yes, as they take this many classes, they become greater citizens in the community. But I was looking for something that I'm like, I want to do this, meet this group of people, empower them in this specific way. And I was like, I was looking to so many things, and that's how I came up with doing, as I finish my undergrad next semester, I'm looking into doing my master's in international affairs, foreign affairs, where I can be able to advocate at a global level and also empower other people at a global level. But I'm just kind of glad to see that you're also able to realize that, and you're using it in so many ways, helping the young people and also the people of Tucson. So what is the organization all about, the Greater Tucson of Leadership? I can call it like that. What do you guys do on a daily basis?
Yeah, so Greater Tucson Leadership, our mission is to develop and engage driven leaders to be catalysts for change. So we're a nonpartisan organization. We're a nonprofit organization in town. We've been around for 45 years. So it started in 1980. So I get to be a little piece kind of running it right now, which is really an honor for me. But we do leadership development kind of across the spectrum. So we have our main program, which is called Lead Tucson, which has been around since the beginning. And basically we teach people about the issues of the community, and we also give them leadership development. All of our programs are based in the Clifton Strengths Assessment. It's a program through Gallup, and it's all based in positive psychology. So you kind of take the assessment and you get back what are the things that you naturally do best, and then we try to train people in leadership to say what do you do best and how do you do more of it. So not necessarily here are the 5 steps to leadership that you do. It's who are you and how do you bring the leader out is the goal of our programs.
So then you kind of look at different issues that are happening in the community?
So it's a 10-month cohort. So people apply and then they're in the program for 10 months. And each month we look at a different issue. So we have Arts and Culture Day coming up on Thursday. Last month we did healthcare. We had government before that. We have IDEA, environment, education, justice and public safety. So each month we're really deep diving into a kind of an issue in the community and, what's going on and how can you get involved if this is like where your passion comes out.
So when is the next application for the cohort?
The next application will open in February, and it'll close in May, and then the cohort will start in August. Okay. So it's a pretty long. The application isn't like long, and then there's a little interview process, but it's early because it is a time commitment. I mean, to give a Thursday every month is a pretty big time commitment. So we got to give people some advance warning. Yeah.
That's great. If I'm in Tucson, I would love to be part of that leadership cohort. But the only challenge is I'm looking into master's program for next fall semester. And so hopefully if I'm around, I'll love to be part of that program. So
well, let's just say we had master students in the program. I don't know that we've ever had an undergrad in the program from the UVA, but we've definitely had master students. Okay. And our goal is to bring a really wide range of people together. So students through send us your CEO or your CFO or something like that. So we try to make it a really mixed group.
So given that you've interacted with so many leaders in the communities and you've taught a lot of them as well, how can students identify their strength and use them to make an impact in their community?
So I think I kind of talked about the Clifton Strengths Assessment. So just take it. You go to the Gallup website, and I think it's $20 but I think it gives you a really good, well-rounded report. And we also have a high school program, so we do this with high school students too, and they take the assessment. And I'm always struck by this, that one of the high school students said that every test that they've ever taken in their life told them what they were bad at or what they don't know, and this was the first test that told them what they were actually good at. So they're this is amazing. So it really kind of gives you back information as to here's what you naturally do well, and kind of language to explain it. So a lot of times people take the assessment and I kind of knew that I did this or that, but I never knew how to say it. So I recommend everybody take the assessment. You can also get any of the strengths books, and usually they're cheaper than the codes, and they all come with a code. So you could take the test by getting the book, which is cool. But besides that, I always tell people to just look at what you're naturally good at. And the example I give is when you're in elementary school, you probably recognize things that maybe you could do faster than other people. So I always use the example of it took me longer to do math problems, or you get to the end of an equation and I'm I got a number, we're done. Where sometimes people could look at an equation and say, that number doesn't look right. I'm how do you know that, right? I don't understand.
That's true.
But I was always really good at reading, or I wanted to talk in front of the group, let me read out loud, let me give a little speech. So you just kind of start to recognize oh wow, I'm not as fast at math, but I'm faster at English type subjects. So you can kind of just be what can I do faster than my neighbor, or quicker, or it just comes easier to me. Or you can kind of look at where do you get in the zone? Some people talk about getting in the zone. So it's I joke around people that love spreadsheets. It's I was working on the spreadsheet and I put in the little things to make the numbers and columns and, add, all the things in, and people kind of just really naturally love to do it. Or it's I was working on the spreadsheet and it's all perfect. And I worked for an hour and I didn't even realize it flew right by. So kind of just noticing what are those spaces where you're oh, that was easy and I kind of got in the zone. And those are probably really good hints as to what your strengths are.
I think being a leader is knowing what you're good at, because in that subject, you can lead others, help others improve in something you're already naturally gifted with. So you've talked about how you were involved in student council growing up. So what are some simple ways that students can start becoming active in their community?
I think that the biggest thing is just meet people, connect with people, give things a try. The best you're never going to be perfect. Like there's no perfect leader out there. There's great leaders, but even great leaders are not perfect, right? Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is like, just try, just step up. Hey, I'm going to lead the project today. Oh, I'm going to there's an open president in this club that I'm in. Be the president. Yeah. Like go just say like, yeah, I'll take it. Because a lot of times the person who says, yeah, I'll take it is the person who gets it. Yeah. A lot. So like just being willing to like step up and take the lead is really important. And don't worry about being perfect. You're going to make mistakes. The biggest thing is like learn from the mistakes. Hey, that didn't go well. Why didn't it go well? How can I get better at it?
So are there challenges that you've faced so far as you grow in your leadership journey? And I was also remembering that you came from Pennsylvania and you decided to stay in Tucson. I know these are two different questions, but I wanted to ask you that as you moved into Tucson, coming for your master's program, like, did you ever feel like going to work somewhere else? Like, why specifically Tucson? I think I should have asked you this earlier.
No, this is great. Yeah, my aunt and uncle, they moved out here when I was in 8th grade. So we would always come to visit, usually over Thanksgiving or Christmas. And it would be, like today's 75 and sunny. And in Pennsylvania, it's probably like 32 and cloudy. Yeah. So I was like, why are we going home, parents? Like, this seems pretty great instead of back there. So when it came time for grad school, I wanted to move out here and just, again, try something new, go to a new place, get a new experience. And I feel like when I moved to Tucson, I really fell in love with it. I think that Tucson is a small town. It's like a big city in a small town. It's like you have almost everything that you can get in a big city here. And it still also is a place where it's easy to get involved. It's easy to get connected. I hear that it's like a bunch of little small towns in a big city is kind of what Tucson is. And I love that environment. And the desert is beautiful. It's very different than almost any other place,
So are there challenges that you faced as a CEO of this organization?
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest challenge that I face a lot is like, how do we get the funding and keep the funding to pay everybody and get all the work done that we need to get done and balancing out like the size of the staff with the amount of like revenue we're bringing in. Like even though it's a nonprofit, I mean, the hard part about it is like, there has to be revenue to pay people and keep everybody employed and also like do all the work that we're doing. So, we were a staff of 3 and then now we're a staff of 2 and it kind of feels like we probably need to be a staff of 3, to get all the work done that we need to get done. But it's like, do we have enough revenue to kind of get to 3? So kind of then like being strategic about thinking about how to get there. So I think like the challenge that I'm facing now is really that. And I think that is in like so many spaces. It's like, how do you have the amount of people that you need to do the amount of work that you have to do?
I didn't know there was only 2 employers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because nonprofits are so much work. I was expecting way more.
Yeah.
And do you have so many volunteers for the organization?
Oh, yeah. Totally. We have a lot of alumni, so they help plan our days. So a lot of times it's like if you work in government, then you'll help plan the government day. Or if you work in healthcare, help plan the healthcare day. So we really try to use the volunteers' expertise to kind of like plan the days. But that really is not, we don't have a ton of volunteers who are doing like the logistics. So the logistics is kind of what falls on us.
Yeah. And so like, how do you quite like balance that? Because I was looking into nonprofits and reading about lots of them and doing some research. And I found like a lot of them like are run by the help of different volunteers. So how do you really balance that in a way that to get them to do the work? Well, you're not paying them. They're volunteering their time. So they're putting in whatever they can as well. But you're also demanding something from them because as they put in that time, they must be accountable for that because for the organization to continue. Yeah. So how do you like balance that?
It's a hard balance. Yeah, and like a quick brag, we just won this year like an award for our volunteer program. Yeah. So just like the number of volunteers we have and kind of the things that they do. There's a volunteer organization in town called SAVMA that their goal is to support nonprofits that run volunteer programs, and we won like volunteer program of the year essentially. So we work really hard to just be clear about the expectations. So when they're planning the issue days, it's kind of like, okay, we're going to meet this many times. This is the kind of guesstimate about the amount of time that you're going to do. Here's kind of the tasks that you are going to be asked to do. So people can, on the front end, decide, hey, do I have enough time right now? Is this going to work? Is it not going to work? So it's a lot of that, just like being really clear about the expectations and recruiting the right people. And we do volunteer, like we do a happy hour at the end. I think the benefit for our alumni is they get to help other leaders grow. So there's a lot of, I'm kind of the mentor now. I get to like re-experience that day, or I have this expertise and I get to share it with the current class. So there's a lot of like, I think some of those rewards are very, it's a cool reward for people. There's a finite end date, and then you get a cool experience at the end. And I think that really helps us.
Yeah. And as they volunteer their time, they're also learning because they're using the skills they gain from the class to what the mission of the organization is. So with the challenges that you've faced so far as the CEO, what are some lessons that students can learn and apply when they go through obstacles? Because we have students who want to become CEOs of different companies. Most of them are training to be managers, are training to be in so many different leadership roles. So what do you see that some of your obstacles that you have, that they can take them as lessons?
I think like the biggest one we already talked about a little bit is like just try things. Like you're going to learn so much by like successes and failures. Like I tried this thing, this part of it went really great, this part of it did not go so great. So kind of being really okay with that is really important. I think no matter what you do, you probably need to have like some level of basic accounting. So I've never taken like an accounting class. The Eller College would probably be very excited, but I think like every major, even if it's just like accounting 101, like just grab that as an elective so you can kind of understand the basics behind it. I've learned a lot of that stuff like in the role, and I'm not great on the technical side of it, but I've learned the front side of it, which is like, how are we going to manage the budget? Where do the funds need to go? So kind of that side of it is really important too. But I think just being able to understand that will be helpful in like essentially anything. If you're a nonprofit, you have to be able to turn out a balance sheet. You have to be able to like, categorize all your receipts. And because it's like such a public thing too, like you have to be public in your reporting. So you got to be on top of that reporting. So, and I think that's like everywhere. Even when I worked at the U of A, I used to be in charge of the Highland District. That was my job, all the dorms on Highland Avenue. It's like there was still a budget that we had to follow in that area to, if we wanted to do socials or whatever. So there's always going to be like budget management. So even if it's your club, like be the treasurer, like just like learning those skills is going to help you so much.
I'm glad you're talking about the budget stuff because recently I was realizing, okay, I'm graduating, but I can't take more classes next May. But I was thinking about the budget stuff because I'm like, I want to do a lot of like organization, maybe profits or non-profits, but I was like, I think I need to learn more skills when it comes to finance. And I thought about this for a while now, but I think I had put it somewhere aside. But now since you talked about it again, I think I'm remembering that. So I have to look at that. I have to go do it. Like that's my homework for sure. Because I was also like realizing the pattern. I was like, if I'm going to lead people, I need to also know that not only the leadership side of it, because I always concentrate more on the leadership, on the public speaking side of it. But I still also need to know that even if I'm hiring somebody who will do the finance work, but I have to understand what's happening behind the scenes.
And I think even the most basic level of it, it's like, I'm not an expert in finance. And we have an accountant that works with our organization. So they're doing a lot of the like technical things. But I need to understand, like I need to be able to give them the right information so they can do their work in the right way. When they have questions, I can't be like, I don't know. Like I need to be able to.
You're the advocates for the whole organization. So you need to answer some of their questions. And the donors, the people who are in the program. Like you need to answer so many questions when it comes to that side of finance.
So I just learned that you are a teacher for improv comedy, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So how has that improvisation influenced you as a leader?
So I also run Tucson Improv Movement, which is a comedy theater down here on 4th Avenue. So come check us out. But the other side of it is I started doing improv right after I finished grad school, because I was working and in school, and that takes up like all of your time. And then when school was gone, I was like, I need something else, what's a hobby? What do I want to do for fun now that I have this kind of time in my life? So I took an improv class and I was like, oh, this is fun. I was always kind of like a performer. As I said earlier, like I like want to make the speech, or I want to like read out loud. So I was always like a performer in my life. And this was a way to essentially like do performance with not like in a play, or sometimes when you're in a play, it's like you rehearse for 6 months and then you do like 4 shows and you're like, okay, that's over. If I want to do it again, I got to audition for another play or something like this. So the nice thing about improv is that it brings performance quicker. So you're, once you kind of learn the skills and get into it, you can kind of be performing more regularly, which is a lot of fun. But I think that the tenets of improv comedy are like a life philosophy. So I don't know if you've heard of the term yes and. That's like the basis of improv. I feel like 5 to 10 years ago when I started doing improv, people were like, what? But now it's like a cool corporate buzzword, yes and. But I think that idea of like being positive, oh yes, this is what's happening, and like how do we like build upon that, like actually listening. When I talk to people about improv, it's more about listening than it is about talking. I think that also surprises people a lot. So it trains you to like listen, it trains you to notice. So like the start of every improv scene is somebody saying something, and it's like the difference between like, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Is like really different. So you're giving that intonation to people, but you're also trying to read that. It's like, oh, is this person mad at me? Are they happy with me? Are they, flirting with me? Are they ready to yell at me? Like we can kind of have all of those things happening in an improv scene. So being able to like read that is super, super helpful. And I think that helps me read the room all the time. Like when I go into a board meeting, I'm like, what's the vibe? The vibe is, it's good. Or it's like, the board's got some questions for me. Like I gotta be ready. So, or then like individual people in the class or on the board, it's like, what's going on here? Like, how can I figure that out quickly? And I think improv helps you do that.
I think that's true. My favorite show is Impractical Jokers, and they started with improv, so I think it's very unique. And like you said, I want to piggyback on what you stated, that with improv, it teaches you how to be on your toes and be ready with any situation that comes your way. So what improv skills can benefit students in school or in life?
I think that improv teaches you resilience, which is, something that like everybody needs to like learn, like that grit and resilience, because in an improv scene, we're never trying to solve the problem. Like essentially the goal of the comedy is like, okay, there's a roadblock. And when I get over that roadblock, like my scene partner is going to give me the next roadblock that's like related. So it's like, oh, I've gotten past this. Now I need to deal with this. Oh, I've gotten past that. Now I need to deal with this. So you kind of learn this like constant having a roadblock in front of you, but it's like, oh, it's fun to think about how to get around it or how to make this roadblock funny or entertaining for the audience. So like so then in real life, it's kind of like a series of roadblocks, right? It's like you figure out one problem and like, okay, now there's another problem. So I think that improv teaches you kind of how to do that. And just like a positive, like life psychology is good at psychology, but like positive life outlook, like, hey, we got to do this annoying task, but like I can make it fun, like we'll get through it because it'll be more fun than like, okay, we have to do this annoying task and we're going to be angry about it. And then at the end, we're like, wow, we did a task, but now we're still angry about it. Instead of like, oh, we did the annoying task, but like we built the relationship or we had fun doing it or we learned something along the way. Like those are the skills of improv that I think just help people live a successful life.
And with your courses in your improv comedy, do you guys perform at the end, or how does that kind of look for your courses?
Yeah, if people take classes with us, it's a 6-week class, and then there's a showcase at the end. The curriculum is 5 levels, so people can it kind of starts with the basic, like, how do I do a scene with somebody else? How do I make this work? And then the end of the course is, we call it Herald, but it's like learning a specific show performance style, like a format that people can use to improvise, essentially long form, like getting one suggestion. I take that suggestion and then I use it for the next like 25 to 30 minutes in a show. So you kind of build up to that.
And it's for all ages?
You have to be 18 or older, mainly just because it's like, if you're like 13 and you're with like a 40-year-old, it's like kind of weird. So we do like 17, and then like we will, like if people are like, hey, I'm 16, I'm turning 17 soon, like we can make exceptions and like figure that out. But we've looked at, in the past we've taught some teen classes. In the past we've taught some like little kid classes. We want to get back to that. But really it's 17 plus. But for college kids, you're there. So.
And do you want to get into, I know this is improv, but it's kind of related to theater or any of that sort. So do you want to branch out to that, or just stay in improv for now?
I mean, my goal is really to stay in improv. I think that, you know, it's interesting because it's like the one comedy art that doesn't really have a good like economy behind it. So like if you're a stand-up, you kind of get to a certain level, you can tour, you're getting paid for it. Like improv really doesn't have, like improv for its own sake doesn't really have a great like economy behind it. Ben Schwartz, I always joke around that Ben Schwartz is the only person making money off of improv right now. So he was John Raffio in Parks and Rec. He was the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like he's been in a bunch of movies, but he like tours the country with friends and they do improv and he sells out like big theaters. He's the only one that's doing it. But I think that a lot of times people think of improv for something else. I'm going to do improv and then I'm going to go be a stand-up. I'm going to be improv, I'm going to go be a writer. I'm going to do improv and then I'll go be an actor. But I think that the frontier for improv in the next like 20, 30, 50 years is like, how do we have like improv for improv's sake? Because I think that sometimes improv has a bad name. Like people are like, I went to see an improv show, it was weird, or it was like, it didn't go very well, which is sometimes part of it. But I think when people get really good, you know, like our show at the theater, our flagship show is called The Soapbox. It's Friday night, it's at 7:30. And if you come see that show, it's going to be good. Like I promise that show will be good every week, you know? So like, there, I think, are ways to really monetize improv, to have improvisers use that as a career. We just haven't figured that out yet. So I think that's an interesting space to live in right now.
Yeah, I love live shows because you get to see all the little mistakes and everything. Because in movies, you see everything's perfect. Yeah. But in live shows, you see all those little aspects that you don't really see in film.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway, or the TV, or heard of that TV show? No. It's a little older now, but Drew Carey was on that show. There's some people that were on that show, and I feel like people, that's their entryway to improv, is they think of that. But they're also like, well, that was funny the whole time. I'm like, yeah, because it's also a produced TV show. Like they would perform for, an hour and a half and give you the best 22 minutes. Like, of course that's going to be great the whole time. So I think that is a really good way to look at it. Like, and sometimes the things that are the imperfections become the best part of the show. Yes. The most memorable moments, the most interesting things. And that's a lesson for leadership. Like sometimes the mistakes are the things that become our biggest positives.
Yeah. Like arts, every mistake is the design. It leads to a new design. Yeah. So for our last question, what qualities do you believe future leaders need most? And what advice do you have for students who may not feel ready? I know you have kind of talked about this most of the time, but like, do you kind of have a few examples that you can share with the students?
I think there's like two big things to like being a great leader. And I think the first one is like understanding yourself. So we talked about the strengths. I always take the Clifton Strengths Assessment. I don't work for Gallup, but I think it's really good. And there's lots of ways to do that, right? Yeah. You don't have to take this assessment, but there's lots of personality type assessments or whatever. So like really start to understand who you are. And another great way is to ask like, a parent, a partner, a best friend, like, what am I good at? Like, what do you see me being good at? Because usually they can tell you better than you could tell yourself.
Yeah.
Because they see it and they're like, oh, you're a great talker, or you're a great organizer. So kind of learning like, what do I bring is really important. And there's lots of ways to do that, but you have to pause and pay attention to help yourself get there. So do that first. And then the second part of leadership is like, care about the people that are following you, or that you're trying to lead, or that you're trying to make change for. Because I think whether you're the most amazing leader in the world, or whether you're okay, or it's your first time, or you're getting better, like, if you show that you care for other people, it's okay that you made a mistake. Because people don't demand perfection from people that they care about, because they know that, hey, I care about you, you care about me, we're working together to figure this out. It's the leaders who are like jerks. Like, people are like, why are, you're going to tell me this? Oh, you made that mistake. I'm going to hold it over you, or I'm going to bring it up, or whatever. Or like, if people care about each other, they're like, oh yeah, you made a mistake. Like, and you're caring about fixing that mistake. What else can I ask for? So it's like, if you can understand yourself and you can like show people that you care, those are the two skills you need. And then there's a billion other ways that you can become a leader and act as a leader and be a leader. But if you can't do those two things, I don't think that any of the leadership classes or the leadership theories are going to get you anywhere. So it's super easy to learn about yourself and care about others. Anyone can do that. And if you are ready to do that, become the president of the organization, be the treasurer, step up, if you're going out with your friends, make the choices that night. There's a plethora of ways to be a leader every day.
That's true. It starts with yourself first, realizing that, and also your community, like you mentioned earlier, they see those potential in you every day, because these are the people that you spend most of your time with, and so they can be able to indicate and say, oh, you can be this. And that can be helpful. I know some people, sometimes they're rigid. They're like, I'm not going to follow what this you want me to be, I want to be me. But the people around you, sometimes they can be able to tell better than you may think about yourself. Thank you for coming to our podcast. We're happy that we learned so much from you, from your organization. I really highly recommend people to take advantage of what the organization is offering to them. A few months ago, I was looking at different organizations where I can go learn about leadership stuff, and I didn't know that this exists, because I was looking at the Maxwell Academy, I was looking at other leadership organization somewhere else, but we have one here in Tucson, and you guys are not only training people to have those leadership skills, but you're also empowering them to look at issues that are happening around them, and how can they turn those issues into possibilities. I'm having a problem called problem to possibility class. So it's like turning a problem into a solution or a possibility in your community, which is really great. We need more of those organizations, and we're really excited for what you're doing and what you're putting out there for the Tucson community.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and I feel like, kind of with what you said, when you look at those big national organizations, like, they're great and you'll probably learn a lot and have a really great experience. But when you do something that's local, it's like all the funds stay here. It supports people in Tucson. And it's like, in leadership development work, or like at the comedy theater, I'm always like, you can give your money to Netflix. They'll take it. They have enough. But if you go to a show, a local show, a local place, like, all of those funds are going to help people who live here. If you take a leadership development class at our organization, like, all of that money essentially stays in the Tucson community. And at the end of the day, all of the stuff that you do local is probably cheaper than what's happening at like the national level or a big space anywhere. And I think both things have like Stranger Things, real excited. Can't wait. It's coming out soon. I'm ready for it. But it's like, how do we look at both things as really important?
And how do you be impactful to your community? If you really love Tucson, like, how do you ensure that you're contributing to the issues that are affecting our community? And I think by doing that is getting involved in the local organizations. Yes, you can go out there and get those skills. We need people to go get those skills and come back, and how can they use them in our community? And so I feel like this is a great organization, training leaders. And these are leaders not just in one specific industry, but they're coming from different with different background and also different industries as well.
And I think it's the same in like all sorts of areas of nonprofits. Like I feel like when people go to donate to nonprofits, when you're out of college and making some money, you're like, hey, let me donate to nonprofits. It's like, oh, let me donate to the American Heart Association or, a big national organization, right? But there's probably something happening in your local community that's doing similar or the same work. And they probably need those funds a little bit more than those like big organizations. And not that they're not doing like national level big research that's going to maybe like move humanity. But I think I always challenge people to think about like what's happening in your local community and how do you give back to that? If it's, taking a leadership class with us or donating to our organization, that's amazing. But there are also hundreds of other nonprofits in Tucson that are doing amazing work. And when you donate to them, again, all the money stays here.
And it makes our Tucson community better and safer, organized, because you're about leadership, which is for the common good of everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So is there anything else you want to add before we close our discussion for today?
I don't think so. Take an improv class, take a leadership class, and support your local community. Yeah.
Thank you for inspiring us as well. We've learned so much from you, and thank you for continuing to put your time and volunteer. I know, like, working for a nonprofit organization is a lot. Like, you put in so much, and it's more about volunteering your time and everything that you have, for sure. It's more than time. So thank you for doing that for the benefits of the Tucson community.